listening to the Freedom Army Radio.
Welcome to tonight's episode of the Writers Guild, where we dive deep into the recesses of your mind. Beware, I'm going to say some things that might trigger you. And that's the point, you see. We're going to analyze where our conscious and subconscious behavior is derived. We will seek to answer questions such as, what is the difference between fear and love? What determines a person's actions or their personality? Is it nature or nurture or both? And to what degree, I ask you? We will discuss some of the greatest minds of psychology, from the clinical to the spiritual and beyond. To begin, I will quote the great Nick Diaz when he so elegantly stated, "Don't be scared, homie. What even is fear? Why do we need it? Or do we?" Fear is the primary driver of your life. You think you do the things you do because you want to? Well, I disagree. I bet you do what you do because you are afraid. That's right. The realm of fear is not obvious to the conscious mind because it lives and breathes inside you, within the deepest, darkest cracks of your subconscious self, where it pulls the strings of your behavior and your perspective. So let me ask you some questions, and perhaps we can find out where you fall on the spectrum of fear. Are you an overachiever, perhaps? One that works very hard in your life and everything you do because you value it? Or maybe because you're afraid of being considered a loser? Are you an underachiever who procrastinates endlessly because you are lazy? Or maybe simply that you are afraid of success? Do you give up and quit easily because you are a loser, or because you are afraid of failing? Do you seek gratification in others through relationships and friendships because you value people? Or is it because you are afraid of being lonely? Do you have a very strong sense of faith in your religion because you believe it, or because you are afraid of the unknown? Do you give others attention while trying to appease them all at your own expense because you have such a big heart? Or maybe it's just because you are afraid of their perception of you. Are you overly aggressive, kind of an asshole, because you are strong? Or because you are filled with eternal fear of being weak? Maybe you are the opposite. Are you overly passive because you are a very nice person? Or is it because you are actually afraid of being strong? You see, subconsciously, we attach labels to our identity that determine our personality in the life we experience. It is both nature and nurture, yet consciousness is the variable here. Consciousness can be described as a quality rather than a quantity. You can't have more consciousness or less, you just simply are conscious. But the degree of quality determines your perspective behavior. Perhaps we can identify the difference between psychology and psychiatry to help us make sense of this conundrum. Personally, I don't believe in psychiatry, as this is the realm of quick fixes and lazy solutions. Psychiatrists prescribe chemicals in the form of pills while ignoring the underlying root issues. those issues can only be rooted out by some kind of psychologist. Truth is, the modern medical system does not possess the tools to approach a person's psychological issues holistically. A good psychiatrist has you taking so many damn products that eventually you become a product of a broken system. But hey, you don't have to listen to me or anything I have to say. Let's look at some wiser minds of history, like the late great Sigmund Freud. Freud was born in Austria, 1856. They call him the father of psychoanalysis. He saw the mind as an iceberg with a conscious tip, and everything underneath was the unconscious bulk. It was all full of sex drives and repressed rage, mommy issues. He valued therapy over chemicals. He encouraged people to talk things out, free associate, psychoanalyze your unique layers of ego or the unconscious part of your iceberg. For example, I grew up in Canada, and so I naturally watched hockey, and I was a Habs fan, which meant, of course, I hated the Leafs. But, did I really hate the Leafs? Toronto was actually a lot closer to me than Montreal, and they're both Canadian teams, so what created this sense of identity that said I have to hate something and I have to love something else? Is it truly my personality that dictated this, or just my upbringing and my influences, my ego? Certainly it was the latter. Perhaps you can relate to some of the quotes from Mr. Freud himself. He said such things as, being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. The ego is not master in its own house. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. What did he mean by all this? Hard to say. Freud was not the only guy to talk about the inner workings of the mind. Many great people came before and after to shed light on this complex topic. One of the most classic examples of psychoanalysis is that of Plato's cave. Picture this. Prisoners chained in a cave since birth, okay? They're facing a blank wall. Behind them, a fire. Puppeteers walk by, holding cutouts. Shadows dance on the wall. And that's all they know. All they know are these shadows. And they think the shadows are reality. Well, as it would happen, one guy breaks free. He stumbles out of there, eyes burned by the sunlight. He sees real trees, sky, people, all the suchness of life. Well, he comes back to tell the others all about it, and they laugh at him. Maybe they even kill him. What's the moral here? Is that most of us live in a goddamn illusion, okay? The truth hurts, but it's worth the climb. Another brilliant mind that could break down the nonsense swirling about our brains with an extremely logical and empirical approach was none other than Jiddu Krishnamurti. This man had the power to tie your thoughts up in knots, or possibly enlighten you. But either way, it required great insight. Jiddu Krishnamurti, Indian thinker, born 1895, raised as this world teacher by theosophists, then ditched it all at 27. He said, "Truth is a pathless land. No gurus, no systems, just look straight at yourself." In regards to the ego, he called it the biggest trap. The observer is the observed, meaning your sense of I isn't separate. It's just thought pretending to watch. The ego is the root of all fear, conflict, division. Here are some quotes from the man himself. The primary cause of disorder in ourselves is the seeking of reality promised by another. He also said, you cannot live without the ego, But you can understand it, and when you understand it, suddenly it disappears. And lastly, freedom is not the absence of commitments, but the ability to choose and commit yourself to what is best for you. Basically, stop chasing enlightenment. Stop seeking your desires. Just watch the mind without judgment. When you do this, your ego crumbles once you realize it is fake. One classic tale from Siddhartha, Guatemala, hopefully I said that right, the Buddha himself, of course, epitomizes this concept. Let me tell you a story. One day, a very angry, nasty man came up to the Buddha, who was sitting content under some tree meditating, loving his life. Big smile. The man cursed him and spat right on his smiling face. Buddha didn't flinch, and his smile didn't waver. He simply said, "If I give you nothing, what can you take?" Then he dropped the mic like a boss. What does he mean by that? You know, it's if someone throws hate, anger, or any crap at you, like spitting in your face even, and you don't grab it, you don't fight back, you don't even react, then what do they actually get from you? Nothing. Their poison stays with them. You stay clean. Well, let me tell you something. Personally, I agree with the Buddha in this sentiment, but if some guy came up to me and spit in my face, I'm probably going to deck a motherfucker, okay? Let's be real. Perhaps that's why I'm not enlightened, and Buddha was. I don't know, but my argument, however, would be that, yeah, maybe I'm not enlightened, but I'm also not a bitch, right? However, then again, that would be my ego speaking. This begs the question, what does identity really mean? What part of me is truly me and what isn't? Another great chap of history who had a lot of wonderful things to say on this topic was Alan Watts. Here's what he had to say on the issue of the ego and identity. The man was born 1905, British, but he moved to California, and he became this chill, Zen, Western philosophy guy. He loved blending Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, all the isms with everyday life. He thought the ego was a total illusion. Like, you're not a separate self inside your head. You're the whole damn universe playing hide and seek. He'd say, stop trying to be somebody. You're already everything. Just pretending you're not. Ego is the mask we wear to feel special. Until it cracks. And so here are some quotes. The real you is not a puppet which life pushes around. The real deep down you is the whole universe. You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. The ego is nothing other than the mind's attempt to be separate from the whole. And when you get free of the idea that you are a separate ego, you suddenly see that everything is you. Another way to put it is, identity is a mask you wear, but never your face. Alright, so now that we are all more confused on who we are, let us conclude this topic with a constructive approach to applying these concepts in some sort of beneficial way to your life. Whether you identify with your ego or not, you still got bills to pay, brother. You still have to live through the struggle of the daily grind. And of course, there's always a myriad of negative influences prying at your mind while you're attempting to contain yourself, build yourself. It's always there, trying to hijack your intelligence. So instead of asking who you are or who you aren't, let us ask, what can you do? Because if you truly know yourself, you will know what to do. Now look, I don't have all the answers, but perhaps I can point to some form of solution to the conundrum of one's personality. It's not about perpetuating what you think, but instead I believe the answer lies in practicing two things, two very simple things: presence and gratitude. Both of these concepts do not require thoughts or identity at all. I'm not suggesting that you're grateful for this or you're grateful for that, but simply that you are. Simply that you acknowledge you are enough. It is a state of being to be expressed, not a state of mind to be owned. Eckhart Tolle is another brilliant mind who has written many books on that exact concept. German-born, 1948, he had this massive breakdown in his late 20s. He was depressed as all hell and suicidal. He couldn't bring himself to live anymore. And at his worst, boom, bam, sudden awakening. The illusion of the I was no more. No more I drama. He wrote The Power of Now, sold millions, changed his life. All because of those two things, presence and gratitude. His big ideas were essentially that the ego, the voice in your head that won't shut up, all the past regrets, the future worries, it's not you. It's not the real you. You don't need that story. Just pure presence right now. Here are some quotes from the man. The ego is identification with form. Your thoughts, emotions, roles, possessions, it's what makes you suffer. You are not the thinker. You are the awareness behind the thinker. Identification with your mind creates an opaque screen of concepts, labels, images, words, judgments, and definitions that block all true relationship to oneself and to the world. The primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts about it. It shouldn't depress you. It should enlighten you. It should empower you. These ideas are strong. Death is a stripping away of all that is not you. The secret of life is to die before you die and find that there is no death. He'd say, stop fighting the ego. Just watch it. Be aware. When you do, it fizzles. Like mist in sunlight. You're not the noise. You're the silence it happens in. So in conclusion, I will leave you with this. There are no external forces that can help you demystify your internal self. The solution to all your problems, especially your fears, are found within. If you truly want to understand who you are, you must first understand who you are not, and then you can know exactly what to do with the gift that is your life. Practicing presence and gratitude is the way. And lastly, I will leave you with one final quote from the wisest mind in all history, Master Yoda. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Thank you for listening. This has been another great episode of the Writers Guild here on the Freedom Army Radio. Good night.